coconut water. That's how many coconuts we have left. And we are on day 9 of the coconut water fast. Coconut water is so refreshing. But today, I'm going to save the information on fasting for the end of the video, if anybody has any questions. But currently it is 6 a.m. local Costa Rican time, 7 a.m. Dallas time, and 8 a.m. New York time, 3 p.m. Dubai time, etc., etc. But yeah, sun's just peering out now. The birds are waking up. It's beautiful. I'm on day 9 of my fast, and I feel great, guys. You do have a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy that accompanies with getting past day 4 and day 5. And so you don't want to be tricked into your body, thinking that you're losing yourself or anything, but because the energy increase is normal and natural, and it's helped to give you clarity of thought. But today's video is titled "The Secret War in the World." So just briefly, there's a mass deception that I want to talk about. That I think this group is about being vegan, can help cure cancer. No, vegan, in the way I think, is the cure to cancer. Veganism is the cure to cancer. It's a new culture. Maybe a spirituality can be formed out of it. But yeah, the war in the world is cancer. Cancer is not natural. We shouldn't have cancer. And so I want to break down what cancer is. Very readily, if you ask a doctor or a physician, or if you Google what a cancer cell is, they will tell you that cancer cells are cells in the body which have lost the normal capability to reproduce at the simplest level. And so what this means is that your body is aware of all the cells in your body. And a cancer cell is a tiny cell that it missed and didn't get a memo, and it accidentally decided to do its own thing. And so if this happens in a concentrated area, such as a part of your body that is being neglected or filled with toxins, then your body will react in a negative way, and it will lose track of the cells in a certain area. And so cancer is basically, a tumor is formed from these cells not being able to tune back into the body. And so cancer erupts when we have tumors, and these all tumors are malignant. Most tumors are malignant, actually. That's not what doctors tell you. They will tell you, oh, it's benign, oh, it's malignant. No, most tumors are actually bad for you. So you have to realize that we have to begin to question why our bodies begin to lose control over all the cells and develop cancer. And so since these cells have lost the ability to follow the normal control that the body exerts on all the cells, we can begin to understand why our body gets fat quickly if we eat unhealthy, because our bodies are constantly trying to maintain this control over our cells. And when we put in things into our body like meat and cigarette smoke and things that don't belong in our body, that's when our body reacts and it's like, okay, I'm losing control of my cells because there's blockage, there's mucus. That very readily, fat is mucus that you eat through cheese. It's the mucus of a cow. It's not natural. And so mucus, it blocks the messages between the cells, and it disconnects them. So toxins disconnect our cells from each other, and so does dairy, and meat. So when we have these blockages, our body reacts by pushing these toxins into the fat because our body wants to maintain control of the cells more so than it has to push these toxins out. It knows, it identifies the toxin, but at the same time, it says, okay, I can't deal with this right now because I have to maintain control. And so the degree to which people are obese in the States should be very, very alarming. The human body is not meant to swell up to such a large size. This is indicative of a constant battle for control. And it's a battle, basically a battle of what you put in your mouth. It's a simple action. You see it, you recognize it, you know about it, you think about it, you react to it, and then you put it in your mouth still, yet again. And even with cheese, you can feel the addictive properties of cheese. It's not good. So what happens after, our bodies are in a constant state of pushing out these toxins into fat, into hair cells, and also trying to maintain control of the body? Well, you can determine that varying degrees of the aggressivity of cancer depends on the decaying mechanism. So which parts of the body are suffering the worst will determine where your cancer erupts first. And then if you maintain a cancerous state in that organ, then yes, it is common for the bloodstream to pick up a cancer cell from a tumor and carry it off to another part of the body. This is how cancer spreads. Very readily, all parts of our bodies are connected. And so, I have 3 cancer cells because I've only been vegan for about 1 year. I know where my cancer is, and because I know what a carcinoma looks like, and I know what a pimple looks like. And so I have 1 here and 2 on my abdomen and here. But I'm not worried because I've accepted that, I've recognized it, and I know that my body is pushing it. And that is why I also briefly want to talk about acne. Your body's natural mechanism for pushing toxins is to push them in your face. It's to give you pimples, so you can be aware. Oh, I must be eating something that my body wants me to be aware of. But over time, you see these models with these nice faces and all of these perfect skin. This comes from a constant habit of bleaching and putting chemicals on our face. And our bodies knows that that's unhealthy, so it decides, okay, I'm going to have to give this person Bacne instead. I'm going to have to put pimples in his butt instead, because they're not listening to the face and they're putting in more damage. So that's the only reason people have clear skin. If you ever wondered why people have clear skin, or in general, that's the big reason, because they're damaging their faces. But yes, your body wants to push the toxins to your face first to bring it to your awareness. And so literally, if you consume a decaying organism, then you will imitate decay because your body wants to keep you alive. So that's why it rejects many parts of meat and things like this, and you develop foreign bacteria in your body. Literally, we weren't adapted to be cannibals, and by cannibals I mean meat eaters. We're literally eating ourselves because we are the planet, and you have to realize that. That's part of the whole idea of veganism, is that some people are persuaded just for the sake and love of animals. So yes, literally the planet is imitating its serpentine DNA. Snakes eat babies, they eat each other, and as a population, we are feeding into this serpentine downfall. So I just want to empower people with the knowledge of what cancer was. Now with this knowledge of cancer, I want to switch gears a little bit, but I'm going to bring you back to veganism, so stay with me. So, what is the identity of the message in our minds? It's very common for humans to want to consider where they get their thoughts from, or being able to attribute their thought to another human. But oftentimes people get bright ideas or epiphanies that go with them to the grave for reasons that aren't not uncommon. So if you're curious about your place in the universe, because as a species we scarcely know who we are and what we are, or why we're even alive, and what we're meant to do with our time. You couldn't be a more grateful time to live in, because we live in the information age. So I just want to ask you one thing. Is it possible that the human organism can communicate with itself? Is it possible that you on the other side of this camera can understand me and communicate with me and have a dialogue with me? Yes, this is possible. So then ask yourself, if we are not as new, if the science proves that we are not as new as to the planet, then maybe it's possible that plants can communicate amongst themselves and we can't hear it. So let's think about this. If plants can communicate amongst themselves and they were here first, then maybe plants can communicate amongst the other creatures as well. No, you are not so advanced that you can't listen to the trees, or the trees cannot listen to you. Because you know why? We eat from the planet. So that is how we physically get our DNA information from the trees. The trees are communicating with us. Are we communicating back with the trees? No, because simply we're not putting our poop into the soil. Your soil, because you are a tree, must be reimplanted back into the tree in order to complete the circle of dialogue. So that's a hint. But very readily we can still receive downloads from the trees to tell us to how to continue to grow. And that's what fruit is, and vegetation, and things like this. But I'm going to give you another hint. The truth is, trees and plants can communicate with all organisms on the planet. And so this is when we can begin to consider that there is a collective consciousness that exists. Even more so, if we are passing our appropriate tests, we can rise above the collective planetary consciousness and gain access to the universal consciousness. And we only do this by eating plant-based, eating from the fruit, promoting veganism in a way that satisfies, a holistic approach towards replanting seeds and replanting your soil. This is the way that the earth can begin to heal. And so now I want to change gears again real quick for you guys and talk about psychedelics. So Western society has taught that psychedelics are Schedule II drugs, and ancient civilizations were kooky, and that we all need to live in this kind of default level of awareness or level of vibration when it comes to business or work or, family or even education. And so psychedelics have been banished from community, and Western hierarchies of society have been promoted to establish structures and institutions according to the way the United States has. So literally, we have forgot ancient traditions that involved plant medicines to raise or help us tune into different consciousnesses. So if you believe that that you weren't meant to do any drugs like marijuana or cocaine or anything like that, and that your best existence is without these things, following the law and not breaking any laws, which aren't real because they're thoughts that we react to that create a fear instead of a happiness. There should be laws that create happiness, but most laws create fear. So if you're one of these people, then I want to challenge you to think about the way you feel when you use your anger, channel it back up through your throat chakra, and inflict it upon somebody else, and you can see them change. This induces a type of serotonin response in your brain because you feel like you're exerting control through your anger. And so this is a consciousness shift. Another consciousness shift is when we're watching TV. So another one would be when we're eating food. So all of these consciousness shifts take place throughout our day, yet you want to criticize people who smoke marijuana and do cocaine and do mushrooms and acid. These things are hypocritical to Western society. And so we have to get back to that ancient way of thinking in which we actually we recognize it as a method for healing instead of a method of destroying society or corrupting society. And so so let's begin to rechange our thinking and talk about psychedelics as messenger molecules from the planet. So if this is true, then science has already recognized that the brain does not project consciousness. It is more so of a tool to tune into consciousness. So this is evidence that your soul exists, that your soul rests in your body, and that your heart is connecting to your brain, because that your heart is connecting to your brain in order to control and project thoughts that give way to feelings and kind of lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Yes, so messenger molecules from the planet. Yes, consciousness is a frequency. It's not projected from the brain. And so this is what current medical science has proven, that the consciousness doesn't come from the brain, but it allows us to tune deeply more into ourselves, which is where divine intelligence rests. So that means that we are all gifted with the ability to decipher between good and evil. By becoming acclimated to society, we still maintain this, or by indoctrination, we lose this ability to determine between good and evil. So many of you have been eating meat, many of you have been cannibalizing other organisms that live on the planet, and this is a tradition that you've made into a culture. And so when you go plant-based, you realize that the body is the temple. It's where we commune with God, and our surroundings are the creation that we can change and influence. And the One Most High has given us all of these tools to ascend, to literally use our pyramids as cultivation, engineering projects to facilitate and create a God in the ether, because this is not real. This is a testing ground, and this is for us to prove that we can do more than what we're given. And so verily, the factory of souls is all around us. And I just want to encourage people to take out the dairy, take out the meat, take out anything that causes disruption between your body breaking down what is a plant, because we share 70% of our DNA with a banana and 99% with a gorilla. This doesn't mean we should be eating gorillas. It just means we should be eating like a gorilla. And so Mark Twain said that there are lies, damn lies, which are lies about people, and statistics, which are lies that deceive people. And so he paints statistics as the worst kind of lie, and literally it is, because the statistics are alarming with the amount of people that should be dead because of the toxins they're putting into their body at an overwhelming rate. So once we realize that all the plants in the world are medicines for our body and messenger molecules from the planet, then we can begin to realize that there is a war on the world. And this war is verily based in cancer. It's based in chemtrails. It's based in fluoride. It's based in anything to keep you suppressed, depressed, and unattuned to higher consciousness, which is being brought in through Christ. So I just want to give everyone a positive message today. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, because it is important to realign our thinking, which is what messenger molecules from the planets do. They give us the opportunity to see things through a child's eyes. And this also allows our brain to form new connections and grow new brain cells, which Western science has lied about and said that is not possible after childbirth. So I just want to tell you that psychedelics do grow new brain cells. This is a fact. And everything should be done in moderation, which is the purpose of fasting. Fasting is to realign your body and help you get reattuned to itself. That's why your hair growth is accelerated to push out those toxins, and why you lose so much fat, and you literally like pee out all the toxins. Because even after I did an enema, my pee was still yellow the following day because I was peeing out the rest of my intestine that had been clogged. But yes, if anybody has any questions about fasting, you can inbox me. Tomorrow I'm breaking my fast, so I'll be fasting all day. If anybody still wants to connect to the Christ consciousness over here real quick, because we are all Christ consciousness, my friends. I just want to inform you of that as well. And I hope everyone lives in bliss and can realize what's at stake, really what's at stake. And that, the war of the world is only going to be fought by those who choose to no longer remain silent, by those who choose to make the appropriate commitments. And that is many people probably missed this message because they were out partying last night. So please share it and please send it, and I will see everybody in the future when we raise ourselves to immortality again on a natural way. Peace and love. Ja.